this meeting of the Mount Vernon Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Do I have a motion to certify the agenda? Motion made by Kathy, seconded by Donnie, all four. That is 7-0. Ms. Kathy, do you mind leading us in a word of prayer?
I do. Our dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this beautiful day. And Lord, thank you for the privilege to serve the people in our community. Lord, we ask you to give us wisdom and empathy and to make the decisions that are in your will. Lord, I ask you to watch over each and every student, teacher that are here at Mount Vernon. Lord, thank you for the greatest district we have. In your son's name, amen.
Amen. We'll stand for our pledges.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. And we will open tonight's meeting with a couple special recognitions.
Yes, ma'am. First, we have the Mount Vernon Designs class is going to present Mr. Chief Leo with the Mount Vernon ISD police badge that they helped design. So Leo, Ms. Doan, if y'all come up and talk about that just a minute, kind of share what we've done.
I had like 5 seniors that were supposed to be
Oh, there
here.
we go.
Oh, well, there you go.
Seniors!
You said it.
Pardon me, here, period.
So, I wanted to change our patch and badge and stuff that we have, and so I was trying to pretty much figure out where to get a design and everything. So Heather Moore told me about Ms. Gunn's class, so we went to them first to do our patch, come up with a patch design, but they did so well that we ended up picking 3 to do for different things. This one here is one that was made by Titus Gable, and that is actually going to be eventually turn into a challenge coin that we can give out at classes and stuff like that to other police officers. And so he created that one. This was, and because I did a good job, we decided to change the badge, and this was the one that we picked. And this one was made by Hadley Smith. And this one was made by Cole. What's his last name?
Womack?
Yeah, Womack. And so that one is going to be one that we use to put on, because both Heather and Blake have requested caps and beanies to wear, so we're going to use that to put on that. And then this was by Dawson, and this is going to be our patch. It's going to be in our actual uniforms that we're going to wear.
Oh, very
That's
Very
neat.
So
Very good.
Your students did well.
Thank you. They make t-shirts, and right now they're making some like track pants, softball shirts, and just an athletic shirt for everybody. So they'll be getting all that. I put them in charge of the marketing, everything, so they're doing that whole project.
So do they sell them through anything or
Well, just kind of word of mouth, because we don't have a payment method other than cash or checks.
Gotcha.
But
So
they-
to order it, I mean, is that the word of mouth, or will y'all put something on our school
We'll probably
Facebook?
send it out on email,
Okay.
and then they'll be coming around. Let them do it how they want to, so.
Okay.
Well, tell them that the board, I would love to see that if they would send
I
it
know.
our way.
I had like 5 that were supposed to be here, I don't know what happened.
They're seniors.
Yes.
And there's a track meet.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That happened to track me.
Ms. Doan, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stone.
Thanks, Chief. Okay. Next, we'll do our staff recognition. We're going to start with our Mount Vernon Elementary Staff Member of the Month. There it is. If I could have Miss Abigail Panetta come up. How are you? Good. I don't know if it says here for sure, but I'm going to say that I was just told that I could say this as well, as that you're a gem.
Oh, thank you.
G-E-M.
Gotcha.
Gem.
I'm like,
Okay, all right, there we go.
just work out too.
Says Ms. Panetta is our Mount Vernon Elementary School Teacher Spotlight for March. She joined her staff this year as a second grade teacher. She jumped right in and began making a difference from day one. Her classroom is in an inviting atmosphere. Students feel the love from Ms. Panetta while also being held to high expectations. She has implemented the new curriculum without a hitch. After a campus visit, representatives from Region 8 noted that she could be used as a model for others to learn from. She is calm, steady, and just what our second graders need. No matter their needs, she sees students for their strengths and their possibilities. We are thankful for all that she contributes to Mount Vernon Elementary School each day. Students were happy to share some insight into what makes her so great. She is fun. We get to cash dojo points on Thursdays. She is kind and respectful. I love how she is joyful and playful. When something good happens to others, she says, "Good job." She gives us Skittles when we work hard. She lets us have extra recess when we earn it. She has taught us cursive, the muscular system, and the nervous system, and we learned about the Civil War. When we don't understand, she helps us to understand it. She taught us our manners. We couldn't agree more with our students. Ms. Panetta is a gift to Mount Vernon Elementary School. Abigail Panetta, our Elementary Teacher of the Month. Congratulations. We're going to get a picture, I think.
Okay.
Yes, we are. Very good. You want to say anything?
Just feel very blessed to be here.
We're glad that
Mount
you are.
Vernon Tiger.
Very
Thank you,
good.
guys.
Thank you. Congratulations. Next, we are going to do our Middle School Teacher of the Month. Here's trying to look this upside down here. And could I have Miss Robin Floyd come forward, please? All right. This says, Miss Floyd has become a beacon of positivity and is always willing to support the Mount Vernon Middle School campus and its students as a whole. She is someone who steps up to help wherever she is needed, whether that's collaborating with teachers to plan a meaningful lesson, stepping in to support coworkers, or mentoring students who could benefit from a steady, reliable voice. Her door is open not only to students, but to teachers, counselors, and administrators who seek guidance or a fresh perspective. This open door approach builds trust across the campus, ensuring that when students encounter a problem, academic, social, or emotional, there is a trusted adult ready to listen and collaborate on a solution. Her commitment to service extends beyond the classroom. She helps organize programs and champion opportunities that connect students to the resources they need to thrive. Ms. Floyd's contributions remind us that a school's strength lies not just in its curriculum or facilities, but in the everyday acts of care and competence from people who choose to invest in others. Her positivity lifts spirits, her willingness to support every corner of the campus strengthens our community, and her expertise provides a clear path for students to achieve success. Our Middle School Teacher of the Month, Ms. Robin Floyd. Congratulations. You want to say anything?
It's been a privilege to be in the district, especially you as our boss.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
We're
you
glad
so
you're
much.
here. Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do. Next, we're going to recognize our High School Teacher of the Month, and that is Miss Andrea Reynolds. All right. Says Miss Andrea Reynolds continues to be a vital and highly respected member of the Mount Vernon High School staff. Since joining Mount Vernon High School, she has consistently demonstrated an exceptional work ethic, investing significant time and energy into designing meaningful lessons and understanding the individual needs of our students. Her Algebra 1 classroom is a place where instruction is purposeful, expectations are clear, and students remain actively engaged from bell to bell. Ms. Reynolds is deeply committed to student success. She pushes all learners to reach their full potential by providing support, challenge, and encouragement in equal measure. She uses data and observation to adjust her instruction, ensuring that every student has the opportunity to grow. Her students know she believes in them, and that belief translates into increased confidence and achievement. Beyond her impact in the classroom, Ms. Reynolds is a dependable and highly professional colleague. She consistently meets deadlines, communicates effectively, and follows through on every responsibility. As a member of the math team, she collaborates willingly, shares resources, and contributes ideas that strengthen instruction across the department. For her outstanding instruction and unwavering commitment and far-reaching contributions to our school community, we are proud to recognize Andrew Reynolds as the Mount Vernon High School Teacher of the Month for March 2026. Congratulations. Very good. Any words?
I am fun too.
I'm-
I wasn't mentioned in there, but I am a lot of fun.
I think you did. I forgot. I missed
Okay.
that. I skipped over that
You
part.
skipped over that part.
Not on purpose.
No, I mean, this is my 4th year here, and every year it really does seem to get better and better, and just the relationships I'm building with my colleagues and my bosses here on campus is growing, and so I think that's making me stronger as a teacher as well.
Excellent. We're glad you're here. Very much.
you.
Thank you. Congratulations. All right. Next, we will do our, let's see here. We will do our, our campus support member of the month. Miss Glover, I do not think is here tonight, but I will go ahead and read what it says about Miss Glover. She was not able to make it. Ms. Glover is truly the heart of operations at Mount Vernon Middle School. She consistently manages challenges with professionalism and poise, stays on top of attendance, and ensures our campus runs smoothly each day. She is always willing to step in and take charge when unexpected situations arise, providing steady guidance and support for staff, students, and families. In addition, she plays a key role in organizing and planning school events while also taking care of parents and students with care and compassion. Her dedication and reliability make her an invaluable asset to our campus, and we would truly be lost without her. So our staff member of the month is Miss Megan Glover, and we'll be sure that we get this to her. Okay. So next we have, let's see, we have our cafeteria support of the month, Miss Linda Dinsmore. Not available tonight, so let me read what it says about her. It says she consistently goes above and beyond to create a welcoming, positive environment for our students each and every day. From greeting students with a warm smile to ensuring meals are served efficiently and safely, she plays an essential role in keeping our cafeteria running smoothly. All right, and also cafeteria support of the month, Miss Sandra Gertis. Gertis, how are you? Good. Says Sandra Gertis plays a vital role in creating a positive and welcoming atmosphere in our cafeteria each day. She ensures that students receive meals that are served efficiently, safely, and with a friendly smile. So one of our cafeteria support of the month, Miss Sandra Gertis. Very good. Want to say anything?
I just enjoyed being here. I come from Winsboro. My kids grew up there.
We
Okay.
won't
My
hold it
grandkids
against you.
my grandkids are tigers, so.
Hey, as they say, you got here as quick as you could.
That's right.
We're glad you're here. Okay. Next, I am going to ask Miss Carolyn Edwards to come forward. She is our maintenance employee of the month. And one of the finest women you will ever find.
Amen. We love you, Miss Carolyn.
So let me read what it says here about Miss Carolyn. It says that this month's board member would like to make a moment to recognize Carolyn Edwards for her outstanding service and dedication as a maintenance employee. Carolyn plays a vital role in ensuring that our facilities, equipment, and systems operate safely and efficiently. Her work directly supports the daily functioning of our organization and helps provide a safe, comfortable, and well-maintained environment for students, staff, and visitors. She is known for her strong work ethic, technical skill, and dependable approach to her responsibilities. Whether performing routine maintenance, addressing urgent repair needs, or assisting with larger projects, she consistently approaches her work with professionalism and attention to detail. Her problem-solving abilities and willingness to go the extra mile make her a valuable member of the team. We also appreciate Carolyn's flexibility and responsiveness. Her readiness to step in when issues arise and her commitment to resolving concerns promptly help minimize disruptions and ensure smooth operations across our facilities. Now, this is on the paper, and here's what I'm going to say personally. Ms. Carolyn is one of the people who I love dearly, and part of it is because she lives out her faith every day. And she doesn't just do it by her words, but she lives out her faith in front of her students by her actions as well. She loves them daily. It's not something she puts on, but it's who she is. And she truly blesses our elementary campus each day that she's there. And just want you to know you're appreciated, and we're excited to give this to you this month. So, congratulations.
Thank
you. You're welcome. Congratulations. I know you want to say something, right?
Well, I'm a little bad. I'm awkward, but I'll just try to chuck it out. Everybody in this room, is the board, and this is George. I went blank for a minute when I'm nervous, Billy and Jason, and thank y'all for all the stuff y'all do. And I love my job and I like the kids and everybody, but there are people in this room that I've worked with, and the teachers that I used to be the janitor for the middle school, junior high and intermediate. And there's teachers in this room, I've never forgot y'all, and we had a lot of fun when I was up there. And thank y'all for the year. Some of y'all are retired, but y'all still have put a special place in my heart. And a few principals and Mr. Watson, and just thank y'all.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're glad you're here. And we had two others that I don't think were able to make it tonight. One is our bus driver recognition. Mr. Newland, of course, who's still on his route, says Mr. Newland plays a vital role in the daily operations of our organization. He is often one of the first and last individuals our students and families interact with each day, and he consistently represents our district with professionalism, care, and reliability. His commitment goes well beyond transporting passengers from one location to another. He helps create a safe, welcoming, and dependable environment for everyone on his route. And our custodial recognition is Ms. Rosa Robles. Robles is not here tonight. Says she plays an essential role in maintaining safe, clean, and welcoming facilities for our students, staff, and visitors. Her work often takes place behind the scenes, but its impact is felt every day. Rosa takes great pride in her responsibilities and consistently goes above and beyond expectations. Whether addressing routine cleaning needs, responding quickly to unexpected issues, or assisting staff and students, she approaches every task with professionalism and a positive attitude. Her willingness to help wherever needed reflects a deep commitment to the organization and to those she serves. We also appreciate Rosa's dependability and flexibility. She is someone her colleagues can count on, and her contributions help create a supportive and efficient work environment for everyone. So Ms. Rosa Robles, our custodian of the month as well. So I think that's what we have. We'll get those. If I could get those who are honored tonight, if you'll step back up and let's get one picture with everyone, please. So right up here. We're going to stand right up here.
Stand by all the people that wore dresses. And
all
all
look
look
all
all
nice.
nice.
And
Represent the high school good.
That's all right.
I'm sorry.
Belinda, I see you.
That's right. I'm behind Carolyn. She and I kind of share this one.
I do like these dresses. Thank you.
That's a big one.
Robin Floyd.
Yes, thank y'all all so much.
I gotta go, y'all. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one. You too.
All right, let's move into our information totals. Or information items. Enrollment
Yes,
totals.
thank you.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you. I was like, wait,
Okay.
that did not sound right.
back
Enrollment
to here.
totals, our first information item.
Okay, we are, as of March 3rd, last Tuesday, we are at 1519. It's happened sometimes this time of the year, as you can see, we've dropped 2 per month from January from 1523 to 1519, but still staying pretty steady for the school year.
Any questions on that? Our campus department updates. Anyone wanting to volunteer to go first?
Well, we've got 6 new students the last couple of weeks. They're just rolling in. We're losing some, but we're getting a lot of new ones too. So We have just celebrated our 100th day of school last week. We had our Heart Hero celebration. I told you last month about the American Heart Association. I don't know our exact totals yet, but I know we did a really good job. So our hero rally will be this week, if not for rain. If it's rain, we're going to reschedule where parents can come and watch. We had a Native American presentation come in to kick off our 3rd grade reading unit. We had a very successful art show. If you weren't there, you missed an amazing time, but you can still come and look around Miss Watson's great artwork that she has. There were a lot of people there, fun stations. It's always good to see the parents sitting down doing artwork with their kids, so it was a fun night. Our daddy-daughter dance that I talked to you about last time, we ended up with about 200 people there, so it was so fun. Just a sweet night. Mr. Clayton came. So it was a good night. It was one of those that very little effort provided a big dividend. It was a good night. It was heartwarming. We finished our TELPAS testing, got all that wrapped up. We've done some student awards, recognized a lot of kids, and we're fully finishing up this year. We're fully in this year, but we're also tiptoeing into next year and getting ready for pre-K and kindergarten roundup. That's coming up in April. So lots of good things coming up. It's busy down at the elementary school. So always is. Y'all have any questions? Thank you. How's it March? I don't even know.
Is now the appropriate time to talk to you about ding dong ditch in my house? That's not your kid, was it? We get a big kick out of it, and they've already told me to prepare for the spring break. They told me that today. Yes. So, anyways, it's fun. Oh yes, I can't wait. So I handed you guys the biggest thing that's kind of been going on our campus is benchmark testing. We are finally, I think we have like maybe one more eighth grader that's not done. But as far as that, we are highly impressed with our academics. We're super excited. And we've been spending we'll spend this week and a little bit of last week already moving forward what we're going to do. We have our elective teachers that have just they are excited about putting stuff in their lessons. They are teaching. I have coaches teaching science. I have coaches teaching social studies. It's really, really been a good collaborative process at the middle school. So we are super excited. We've got work to do. Oh yes. And I know one that we're really excited about, and that's our social studies. That is the hardest test, you guys. They don't take it until 8th grade, and it is the content that they are getting, and then they're fixing to change it on us. So it is by far, we were really excited. Mr. Morgan's been giving it all. They all have. I can't speak highly enough of the staff and stuff, and the kids. They're doing great. I'm kind of with Miss George, our TELPAS, whatever you want to call it. I'm finishing up this week on that. And we've got a huge track meet going on right now. So that's where I'm fixing to head because I've got some races I've got to go see that I've promised to watch. So just a lot going on. Y'all know it's spring and sprung at the middle school. Any questions about this or anything in general? Perfect. Thank you.
Go yell for me.
I'll probably have to make you guys copies because we got so much going on at the high school, and I didn't want to leave anybody out, so I gave myself a page-and-a-half outline because we've got kids going everywhere doing everything. So TELPAS will be completed Wednesday for us. Had a couple makeups today, and then benchmarks, they're all done. Teachers are looking at their stuff, evaluating, making flex schedule changes. We had a school day ACT fit in there. 67 students amongst TELPAS and benchmarks took the school day ACT, and then of course, in April we'll do EOCs for real and see if all our hard work pays off. And then in the middle of that, we're going to fit in TSI for those kids wanting to take college classes. So any kid wanting to do dual credit classes, they'll have to take the TSI and score in a certain range. So we'll fit that in throughout the EOCs. So just a couple of things, and I'm not going to list these because we'd be here all day long. But some of our Taffy kids went over to the Teach Tomorrow Summit in Dallas, and they attended opening and closing sessions. They had breakout sessions from everything to creating engaging classrooms, college exhibits, And this is those students who think they want to go in the field of education and do what all of us do. Some highlights of that, and I'm not going to list names because I don't want to leave any individual student's name out, but we did have one student that got the gold star in varsity in public speaking, which is awesome because, students don't like to speak in public. We had one that get the bronze star in junior varsity ethical dilemma, and then a bronze star junior varsity in pre-K children's literature. So those are some highlights Miss Blue shared with us with our Taffy students, and that was pretty good stuff. We had 25 FFA kids go to San Angelo and submit 9 projects. And I was told by Mr. Ingram that there were 875 projects at this competition. Okay, and our lose my place here. All of our projects received blue ribbons for high quality, which is awesome. We also had 3 teams that placed. We had one that was a second place for their 10-foot bumper pull trailer, a third place for a hay spear, and a third place for tractor hauling gooseneck trailer. And there was different students that worked on those. Like I said, I didn't think it was fair to mention some kids' names and others not. Our bass fishing team, I don't know if y'all know that it's loosely affiliated with the school. They wear, school colors. They go compete. They finished 5th out of 28 teams at Bob Sandlin most recently. UIL film team, they went to Austin and competed, and they had one team earned a 3rd place finish in documentary and a 5th place finish in another team. That's a relatively new thing that we're doing. So those students are having some good successes. Winter Guard finished 1st at Texas High this last weekend, 2nd place at Mount Pleasant, and 3rd place in Wascom in previous competitions. So they're going out there and representing well. Let's see, One Act Play competes tomorrow. They went practice today, see if they can, they started their bid to go back to state. Powerlifting, we had kids qualify for regionals in powerlifting, 2 girls, three boys this year. Don't have specifics on that about how they finished yet. Track is in full swing, as you track folks know. I think their 3rd meet this week. Haven't heard any results of those, but it really doesn't count to the district meet as long as you're getting your times better every time and your throws better. Winter Guard, 20 of our band students, I'm just kind of spitballing here, 20 of our band students went over and represented MVHS in region solo and ensemble contest. 8 of the 7 received superior. I'm sorry, of the 8 events, 7 received superior rating, with 1 ensemble receiving an excellent, and 12 of those students will travel to Austin in May to represent Mount Vernon at the state. Yes, solo and ensemble contest. Baseball's in full swing. They start district play tomorrow at Commerce. Softball's in full swing. They fell just a run short in extras with rains here last Friday. I didn't think that game was ever going to end. And then they go on the road. Yeah, you were there. That was a good game. And they overachieved a little bit because Rains isn't bad. They're not bad at all. So, some things in the college and career readiness we have going on. Last week, Miss Blue and Miss Stevens took 8 students to Idabel, Oklahoma, to the Southeastern Oklahoma University, McCurtain County, and they participated in a Prospective Teachers Academy. So they heard from a panel of administrators, teachers, current college students. One of our students won a $1,000 scholarship for Southeastern Oklahoma University in Durant or McCurtain County. I don't know which one that applies to. They left with some good incentive. They were excited about the field of education, so it was a positive experience. Mr. Ingram and Ms. Stevens also took about 12 students over to TSTC in Marshall last week, and to learn more about courses they offer and what options they have. And they gained a lot of knowledge and were excited about lineman school and just all kinds of other electrical type programs there. So that was good. Those kids come back fired up because I talked to a couple of them when they got back. March 25th, we're having our Career Expo again. I don't know if any of you have been there to that, but that's a pretty big deal. So far, there's 68 participants that are going to have booths from different businesses, colleges, and it's anywhere from eighth graders. Let the eighth graders come over here, and then our high school kids do it. And this year, our seniors are going to go through mock interviews in the different fields that they think they want to go into. I don't know if some of them are real excited about the mock interviews because they didn't know until today, but it's good for them. And Ms. Stevens wanted me to give a thanks to Alliance Bank for allowing us to use their chairs. So I felt it important. And Wednesday, NTCC Medical Lab Technologies program is going to come talk to our health science classes about what that looks like and what that career path looks like. And if I left anybody or anything off, try not to take up too much time. The other ones went short. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions, and I can shoot copies of this if anybody wants to look at it. We have this time of year at the high school level, we got a lot of people going in a lot of directions. And I was just talking to Miss Reynolds, and she goes, yeah, there's some of my Algebra 1 students that I've got to get where they're at, and they're only going to be here one day because they're doing one-act play, they're doing track, they're doing this, they're doing that. So, you know, we were talking about one student, she said, yeah, I'm going to see him 2 times in 3 weeks because we got spring break and they got, you know, she's only going to see him 1 time this week. She saw him 1 time last week, and then we're going to have spring break. So, and she's one that she's trying to get to the mark. But anyway, any questions from anybody? Anything? Good stuff? All right. Yeah.
And then is Lou here for a construction
No.
update? Okay.
Lou's not online, is he? Lou's not online.
Okay.
I'll give a short update. As you know, they finished the inside renovation of the admin. We've moved in there, so all of admin is there. We've not opened up the front yet, so we still have to enter through basically the back door, come in through the middle school to get into the administration office. Hope to have that open here within a few weeks. I know that SWPCO was here today, set the transformer in front of the cafeteria. So I think as Dustin shared about a month ago, getting that permanent power, which is what they're shooting for over spring break, is a big thing for them to have to be able to move forward with a lot of what they're needing to do. Get units running so they can start finishing up some painting and some other things interior on the fine arts in the cafeteria. Still working through ag building as well. They're still on schedule to be able to turn those over to us hopefully by July 1st. And then as soon as they do that, then they will, as soon as day school's out, the next day they'll start the renovation of the current cafeteria and these offices, and as they work to finish. So they won't be completely finished with the high school part, even the entrance till Christmas, around Christmas. So high school students will still be entering like what we are currently right now through the rest of this calendar year. They're still on go and still doing good. Weather's been pretty decent for them. Rain last week, a little bit of rain made them miss a concrete pour, but that's not putting them behind on anything else. So they're making good progress.
Any questions on that?
It's all good within the budget?
Yes, sir.
Nothing
Yes, sir.
We have
Yep.
to tap into any contingency or?
Oh, yeah, there's been some contingency,
spend?
but not, only interest what's been done, with y'all or what, on approval. Be a little interest on a little bit of landscaping. But outside of that, Craig shared with me last week, we were talking about it. Interest itself has even exceeded the conservative projection that he gave, currently by 400,000.
524,478.
Over his projection. Over projection. So, at our construction meeting last week,
Thank
like
you
I
for
said-
being conservative.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right. The construction meeting last week, there's still $432,000 of contingency money setting. Lou feels real good about that. Matter of fact, he's he's getting ready to move toward the conversation of, as a district, what would be our priority with that? Would it be to address something else, or is that something we'd want basically for Jackson to return back to us at the end of the project? So that'll be an ongoing conversation in the next couple months.
So the interest we've earned, we haven't earmarked that for any anything so far?
Well, it's,
I mean,
we've used it because we've had some change orders
that's what you just.
on some, like tennis courts and things like that we've had to use and whatnot, but we've still got a good bit.
So
that we've got
we're starting those conversations and planning of what to do with that interest money. So that we'll bring that to y'all of things to look at. You know, part of the conversation is being, I know the board has talked about the bathrooms here at the high school. We've looked at a roof on top of the Cape building, some things like that. So we'll work and bring that to you as a board. We'll have you a list of some things at April board meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, anything else on that? And then we have our special education presentation.
I really want to go watch my baby's one. You go watch those babies run.
So I'm Stacy Peterson, the Director of Special Services, and I'm here to report on our special ed population. Last summer during the legislative session, Texas Code 29.0012 was added, saying that at least once each year the board shall include during a public meeting a discussion of the performance of students receiving special education services. So we're going to highlight our special education students. I know you've got your information in front of you. So we look at RDA. It's the results-driven accountability framework, and it determines the annual performance for districts regarding special education and other areas. It measures performance on specific indicators to state mandated interventions and monitor compliance with federal requirements. So looking at our data for the past 3 years, in 2023, we met the determination level of 2, which means that we need assistance. And so those areas were the 5th grade and 8th grade, our science assessments. It was our high school biology EOC and English 1 and English 2 EOC scores. So in 2023, we needed to work on those areas. And so the middle school and high school have implemented some things, and y'all can see in 2024 and 25, we met the requirements. And so we want to continue going on in that manner. Looking at our student demographics, when I pulled the population, we had 3 less students because it was 15-16 instead of 15-19. So I did that about a month ago. Of our students, 255 are in special education. Of that population, 139 meet the disability criteria for a specific learning disability, and underneath that is dyslexia. And right now we have 53 students that are receiving direct services in dyslexia at our elementary and our middle school campuses. We also have 75 students that meet the criteria for speech impairment, and 35 of our students meet the criteria for autism. Those are our main disability categories that we serve. So looking at our enrollment, you can see in 2023-24 school year, we had 243 students. We had a jump the next year. Does anybody want to take a guess as to what that was? That's when our dyslexia kids came on board. Because in 2023, the law changed that dyslexia is considered a specific learning disability. And so those children during those school years came up, and so we had a pretty big jump in our numbers there. So our staff has worked hard to maintain that. And then you can see in 2025-26, we've kind of been steady. We have this year, we've had our highest number of dismissal rates, and so this year already we've dismissed 5 students from the middle school, and we've dismissed 14 students from the high school. And so we're really excited about that, because that is our goal, is to give these students the specially designed instruction that they need, kind of fill those gaps, those areas of what is required, and then when they're, compared to their peers, doing what they're supposed to do. So we're really happy with that dismissal rate. Our program overview, so about 9% of our students receive speech therapy. That's the only service they get in special education. About 21% of our students are in the mainstream, so that means they're in the general education setting, and we have an inclusion, a special ed teacher or a paraprofessional that comes in and offers that specially designed instruction and tailored supports to help them be successful, but we want them in the general education setting as much as possible. We do have 56% are in our resource room, so that's where these students are pulled out of the gen ed setting into a small group to work on areas where they have deficits. So that is our greatest population, is pulling those students into groups 2 or 3, up to 5. We try to tailor our groups where they're not too big so we can meet each individual need. And then about 11% of our students are in our self-contained classrooms. These students have the most significant disabilities, and they require intense, highly structured, and individualized support for most or all of the school day. These classrooms support students with severe intellectual disabilities, autism, emotional disturbances, or complex medical conditions. They focus on functional academics, life skills, and behavior management in those classes. We have a phenomenal special education staff here at Mount Vernon, and of that we have 18 teachers, 25 paraprofessionals that support them. We have 7 related service providers, so that's like our speech therapist, occupational therapist, physical therapist, and then we have our evaluation staff, our diagnostician, our school psychologists that come and help support these students in what their needs are. We wanted to look at the academic achievement, and we're going to look first at grades 3 through 8, and all of this information, it's all together. But what this graph shows is the passing rate percentage specifically for special education students in grades 3 through 8. So looking at the math for 2023, you can see that of our special education population, about 50% of them passed, okay? And so in science and social studies, just kind of like Ms. Bates, had talked about, social studies is very hard, and it's very hard for our special education students. They're only tested on it in the 8th grade, and along with science, we have, in the junior high, we have a high group of special ed students and a lower ratio of special education teachers. So we don't have as much support as that area. So it was in the middle school campus improvement plan, to provide targeted professional development to meet the needs of our special education population. And so, we're working on that, we're aware of that, and want to grow in that area. In our high school, same thing, we're looking at our special education population. You can see in 2023 why, we didn't quite hit that mark, but with the interventions and the strategies that were added in 2024, there was really a jump in our algebra, our biology. There was just a little dip in our history, and then our English is just gradually increasing. So the strategies that we put in place are being effective, and we look forward to more and more growth in that area. Every 6 years, the special education department has a cyclical review. We completed that last year in the year 24-25. We were commended in several areas, like all of our processes, procedures, our meetings that we have, everything in place. We were commended on that. The reviewer also commended us on relationships with the students and families. She said, I can see through your documentation, your paperwork, these children, their families, what's going on in their lives and where their needs are. We were commended on our evaluations and on our dyslexia procedures that we have put in place. We did have one area of corrective action plan, and that was in our IEP development, so individual education plan, looking specifically at our PLAFs and goals. PLAFs are your present levels of performance and functional academics, and our goals, we needed to work on that as a district. There's specific criteria that you have in that, and so we have really used the training this year to get our staff where they need to be. I was not happy about having this one area of a corrective action plan until I met with another district that had 17 areas that they had deficits in. So I'm like, okay, one's okay. We can do one. But it has been a process, but it's been good for our team because we've done trainings through Region 8. We've done trainings here on the campus. I've done cyclical reviews, specific PLAFs and goals with teachers, and gone and met one-on-one, and we sat down, and so we really have, increased our proficiency in that. So I'm very happy with that, even though the process of going through it is not fun. But we did it. Highlights, I feel like we have some of the best staff. They're dedicated, they're caring, they have high expectations for our students. Just because our students have a disability doesn't mean that there are not strengths, there are not things that they could do. And our staff across the board have high expectations for our kids, and so I know that really pushes them. For the majority, we have hardworking students. Now, we do have a few knuckleheads, and that's just life. You got to deal with them. But for the most part, our kids really work hard. They want to come in, they want to learn and to grow, and so I'm thankful for that. And then we also have our supportive families, communities, and our school board. We really have a good group that rallies around. And even out in the community at different activities or events, you can see them rallying around some of our students that have those special needs that may need just a little extra support or encouragement. And our community is there doing that. And so I appreciate that. That is all that I have. Do y'all have any questions or concerns for me? Thank you.
Appreciate what you do so much. Now we are to hear our 24-25 annual paper report. Mr. Watson.
I just want to commend Stacy too, and just reinforce that she's doing a wonderful job. That department was 6 years mine, and grew close to the processes and people there, and I don't think it couldn't be in any better hands than with Stacy, and they've done a good job. And it was perfect timing. I sat there waited for 6 years for that cyclical review to happen, and just at the right time, Stacy took over.
Yeah, he did the door.
I want to use the term real quick, but I'm going to pop this up there and share it on the screen with you. Rest assured, it's 152 pages, but we're not going to read 152 pages. What this is when the taper report comes out at the beginning of the new year, then in the springtime, we're required to present to the board an overview of what's in the taper, which means we're not going to go through it in great detail, but starting at the top, let me just kind of give you the highlights of it. This is going to this report. You can see where, if you want to, at any point in time, you can access this on our webpage. This report we're looking at now, and the actual individual campus reports. There's a link there, and then we're going to have hard copies in the campus office as well. So these first few pages are how do you access that? The cover page, and this is actually the cover page from the report, overviews our district accountability status, and a lot of this information we already covered in great detail when we talked about as far as academic performance. We've covered that piece a few board meetings ago. We went through that in detail, but our district overall accountability score was a B. Our distinctions earned for the district were post-secondary readiness, and then as Stacy just touched on, our special education determination status under RDA is that we meet the requirements. Now, the next part of this is just, I'm not going to go through it, but this is an overview of everything that is included in the taper report. So if there's any kind of data points you want to know about the district, from academic performance to personnel to demographics to teacher makeup to teacher experience to class sizes, all of that is in the taper report. I mean, it is your go-to for what does our district look like. If there's anything I don't touch on in the highlights here, then it can be found in the report itself as well. So that is the few pages of what is your table of contents, more or less. Okay, some charts that I pulled just as to review the academic performance that's included, which is a major portion of the taper. As we go through here, if you'll just look, the state is in dark, it's on the left, the region is in the middle, and the district is on the right-hand side. And for all of these categories, save for one, you're going to see where we were at or above the levels of both the state and the region. This first category is approaches grade level or above for all grade levels for all subjects. It's every test we took in the district. And you see right there where that we're over 80% and well outpace the state and the region. Again, something to be proud of. And then you look at the next one, it's the meets all grades, all subjects. Again, outpacing the state and the region. And then we look at all grades for ELA and reading for approaches above the state and region. Next section is meets grade level or above for all grades, ELA and reading. Again, it's a recurring theme that we're proud of. Then we go to math, all grades at the approaches level. Big gap there. Math, all grades level, meets. Well, look at the region right there. Our math teacher is doing a wonderful job, and students. Science. And this is approaches, all grades. Meets, all grades. And then social studies, we're just a hair under the state, but then above the region for all grades. And that's for approaches. And then for meets, we fell below the state's at about 50 and we're sitting there at about 42. And again, this is something we knew. This was something been addressed by the middle school. They addressed it in their campus improvement plan. And we have strategies in place and goals to help to mitigate that. Academic growth for reading across all grades. Sitting there tied with the state at 67% above the region, and we like to see that, but as always, we know that growth is an area where we can grow in the area of growth, and that's been targeted as well on the campuses. For math, specifically all grades, our growth is outstanding. Then we get into our attendance. Some of the 94.7% compared to the state and the region. Our dropout rate, and this is the one where you want to be the lowest tower, and we're at 0.2, so we're in good shape there. Class of 2024 college-ready graduates. And again, what's our goal here? To get these kids prepared for college and or the workforce, and we're look at that number, 89% compared to 70 and 72 to the state and region. And that data is from 23-24, just as a note on the bottom, that lags a year behind. Then your career or military ready graduates, we're looking at 97 compared to 86 and 81. I mean, if I just stopped right there, there's a lot to be proud of for the work that's been done by our students and staff in the district. The next is our ethnic distribution and breakdown. That's stayed pretty steady through the years. Your demographics on the next page. We're just under the state on the economically disadvantaged at 57%. Our EL students or EB students are about 10% lower than the state average at 14%. Students with disciplinary placements is just about 0.5% higher than the state average. And then our at-risk students are slightly behind the state. And then you look at your enrollments by program. Again, bilingual ESL, we just talked about on the prior page. And this CTE, I think that helps translate into those numbers we saw for the college, for the career readiness, 43%. That top CTE number, 43%, that is across the district wide. And then the second one, the CTE 9 through 12, that's just our numbers at the high school, 89%. Because we do have some in middle school. So that's why that 43%, it's compared across the district numbers. So it looks a little smaller, but in our high school, 89% of our kids are in that. GT 6.8, a little bit below the state average. And then right there within the range of the state special education. And I know that Stacy could confirm this too. There are, especially in our region, some districts with significantly higher numbers than that in our region. Class size averages, in a small school like us where our grade levels will change, we've got some grades right now with 140 kids in them. We got some with barely over 100. So these numbers are going to jump around a little bit from one grade to the next and from year to year, but they sit there. If you sit and look at them compared to the state, and this is how it's published. They don't give you region numbers in the taper. We're similar, a little bit below, right at, or just a hair above the state across the board in what our class size averages look like. The next one gives you our breakdown of teachers by years of experience. I know these color codes are kind of hard to read, but beginning at 5.2. I can't hardly see this thing. It's kind of hard to read Yeah, 5.2 is beginning. Yeah, and then 1.5 years we're at 21%, 6 to 10, 14.6, 11 to 20, 30.1, over 20, 22.5, and then over 30 at 6.1. So we've got a good disbursement of, but we're able to keep some of those experienced teachers. Obviously, if you look at the numbers of over 20 and over 30, where those represent, 28.5% of our staff, really experienced teachers. Violent and criminal incidents, we have to report these, which also includes any kind of fights that we have on campus. Those numbers there were 10 reported incidents for the district last year. That's what that gray column on the right for fighting was. And then we had one controlled substance. The rest of those don't show up on the chart because there were none of the others. Then we look at our GPA for first year in public ed or higher, and you can see those numbers for students, and this is where it's reported. Those graduates that are in four-year public university, we had 21, and then you can see their GPA breakdown. So when we can get the data, we're tracking how those kids are doing post-secondary in college. And you see the numbers for 2 years. We had 50 graduates that went to a 2-year, and in their first year, you can see their GPA breakdowns as well. But then you can see also that there's some students that were not trackable in that report as well. The next one, excuse me, didn't mean to do that, is I'm just going to tell you, if you want to go read that PAIMS Financial Standard Report, then click that link and go check it out. If you have any questions, call Craig. I think he's talked about that. Now, starting from that point forward is the actual taper report. And so we're not going to go through that, but you can scroll down through there. You can see all the breakdowns for all grade levels, subjects, whatnot. But that's where that data came from. And then the last thing that if you would like to review, we came to you with campus improvement plans in the fall, and part of this annual report is to report the progress on the goals and objectives in the campus plans by campus. So what I have attached here is by each campus, the progress that they've made through February on their goals and strategies in their campus plans. Okay, so we're going to go through that. We're not going to go through all those individually. Any questions?
That's really good stuff, I
Yeah.
gotta say.
Definitely
And we've
something to
known
be proud
that,
of.
and,
Yeah.
but principals, as always, please relay, like, y'all just do a phenomenal job, and that's just really good. You love seeing those graphs, so that's great, thank you.
Like them when they were home or
Yeah,
outside.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
we like them when they work for us, so,
Hey, yeah.
but that's good, that's great.
I like
All right, information item F, public notice moving next month. Next month's board meeting will actually be on Thursday instead of Monday, correct? Thursday, April 9th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there any questions on that? Is that good on everyone's calendar? Okay. All right, and do we have anyone for open forum?
No, ma'am.
All right. We are going to move to our first discussion item, well, and only our discussion item tonight. Before we do, though, I am going to take a minute and I'm going to, I'll speak to the camera because this is for anyone who wants to be caught up on the conversation and just give some clarity on how we arrived here. Just in conversations with the community, I felt like a little clarification was needed. First, this discussion item was brought to the board by no push of administration. Community members sought out board members that saw this implemented in surrounding districts and were wondering if this was something that Mount Vernon would be interested in looking at. We talked about it in the fall at a board meeting. It was publicly posted and listed. And from that, we had enough interest that we wanted to take it to the safety and security meeting. We had a follow-up board meeting where we discussed it there and got their feedback. While there were some opposing it, the vast majority of the committee wanted to know specifically what it would look like for Mount Vernon. We also had someone come in from Region 8 and give a general overview of the Guardian program and allowed the board to ask opportunities. This has all been fully transparent to the public, and we're having a follow-up today discussion on the plan that it could look like for Mount Vernon. This is not a reactionary discussion. I have heard that MVISD is failing in its TEA safety compliance, and I want to say that is not true. We do have a TEA safety audit, and while they do come in and make recommendations, they do not even give out a passing or a failing grade. They were actually very complimentary to our campuses and what we have going on, and we did take those suggestions they made and we have implemented them. I do think there are a few that we still are working in progress, but the vast majority of those have already been implemented. We also understand and know as a board that the conversation of safety that in this discussion, it's not an exclusive topic. And what I mean by that is that we understand that there are other elements to safety and we are not dismissing those. That's part of the great thing about having these conversations is that we've gotten a lot of great feedback. For example, something as simple as having more active shooter training is something the district is implementing and looking at from these conversations. So we appreciate that feedback, but we're not dismissing any of those when we are discussing the Guardian program. We understand that safety is a very broad, holistic topic that we all care about and are looking at. But this discussion is just one small piece of that. So I'm going to hand it off to Dr. McCullough. I think he'll share the community survey results, and
Yes,
then
I
we'll
will.
jump into the plan.
So as a part of this conversation, what we looked at was we sent out a survey to our staff and to parents as well. Survey was sent out 2 weeks ago. The results of that we had from the parent results, we had 271 responses. The prompt for the survey read, Texas law allows school districts to implement a school guardian program. The program permits designated employees who complete extensive training to carry a firearm on campus. The goal is to enhance school safety. Participation is voluntary and the identities of designated guardians are not publicly disclosed. The school guardian program and eligible participants must be approved by the local school board. So that was the prompt, and the question was, should Mount Vernon ISD consider implementing a school guardian program? Out of 271 parental responses, it was 70.5% in favor of implementing a school guardian program from parents, with 29.5% said no. Out of staff results, same prompt with the same question, we had 89 responses from the staff and we had 83.1% of staff who responded yes, and 16.9% who responded no. So with that, following the request of the board, and when Leo came on board, asked him to reach out and begin to look at plans that other districts had put together, and to see if we could come up with something to present to the safety committee as well as to you as a board of what the guardian program could look like for Mount Vernon ISD. So I'm gonna ask Leo if he'll come take over the presentation at this time. Yes.
All right. So I'll just start with the first thing. I mean, I believe they were sent to y'all as well. The 10-step program, the 10-step framework which is just a outline of what it looked like. Then I'll go over the complete overview, which talks about the framework and kind of in more in depth. So the first step would be determining the number of guardians needed. And again, all these are just recommendations that I've come up with, talking to people and everything I've come up with on it. So recommendation in general is just base determination on district size and layout, which is recommended 1 guardian per every 100 student, guardian to student ratio. Another big factor is factor in mobility, response time, and overlapping coverage of the district, which recommended that it be more the staff that could be easily mobile if something was to happen, any active threat or anything like that, other than a teacher who would be in a classroom. So it's recommended to have somebody, a coach, admin, somebody that can move quickly to the threat if needed. And then selecting the right type of staff, be capable of immediate response with minimal close contact with students. Require knowledge of all campuses, not just their assigned site. And pre-screening should include background check, psych, eval, a license to carry, and a non-disclosure agreement. So that kind of goes back to the mobility of somebody that can be able to respond. Training requirements would be a DPS school safety certification or locally developed program. Include live firearm drills, written testing, and force-on-force simulation. Determine ongoing training frequency and requirement of attendance. The qualification and evaluation standards would be marksmanship or schools qualification. It could be either annually, biannually, or quarterly. Ensure tactical decision-making, mental awareness, and emergency response protocol proficiency are represented when guardians are evaluated. Ensure the pass rate reflects the seriousness of the job. Only top performers should be activated. So I have here 90 for them to score at the 90th percentile or higher is what's recommended. Define equipment requirements, concealed firearms and magazines, trauma kit or first aid kit, identifying or marking items, either reflective hats, sashes, vests, armbands, or anything like that. Communications gear, which could be either radios or phone apps, and body armor and holsters, and that would be what it has here, just based on the role. And on the develop documentation and liability protections, maintain records, qualifications, training logs, non-disclosure agreements, policy acknowledgements, align documentation with TICO or other known background standards, and outline procedures for removal, retraining, and incident reporting. Assign a qualified program director, preferably with law enforcement, military, and administrative experience. Must have access to district leadership and control of training, records, budget, and performance oversight and alignment with board expectations. In the preserve program, I can't say that word, so. Yeah. Limit identity, disclosure, or essential personnel. Use confidentiality protocols, non-disclosure agreements, and secure record keeping. Avoid visible guardian markings or identifiers unless responding to active attack. Maintain community transparency. Educate stakeholders on what the program is and is not. Publicize training, rigor, and oversight without exposing operational details. And of course, coordinate with law enforcement, establish joint training with law enforcement and first responders. practice coordinated response communications and medical roles during drills. So when we get to the overview, the beginning of it is the pre-screening. All MVISD Guardian candidates must provide a written application. We'll have to conduct or be part of a verbal interview with program director, a personal history statement, subject to drug screening, illegal substance free, 2 forms of current personal identification, a psychological evaluation, have a current license to carry or enrolled in a license to carry course, sign a non-disclosure agreement, and then sign acknowledgement of policies and procedures. The initial training selection would be MVISD PD Guardian course, would be the Texas DPS School Safety Certification. They would have to 90% proficiency marksmanship, which would be a pretest, 90% written exam pretest, 8 classroom hours to include written firearms pre-qualification day 1, 8 hours of live firearms training on the range day 2, and then this one is a day 3, which is an option, which would give them a little bit more training during the actual course. Would be 8 hours of simulation training with the live role players in force-on-force scenarios, which on that 3rd day, if we decide to do that, would be they would go through nothing but scenarios all day for 8 hours, different types all day, in different situations. And then when they actually, at the end of the course, they will have to complete 90% marksmanship qualification and then 90% on the final examination. And then the school board unanimous vote approval. The general duty requirements, quarterly qualification at 90%. A 50-round handgun qualification course is conducted each quarter of the year, and all program members are required to maintain a 90% or higher proficiency rate on the qualification course of fire. Biannual skill evaluation training. Each program member is required to attend a full day of skills evaluation training, which within each half of the year, winter and summer, to remain on active status. These trainings include the development of skills such as, but not limited to, tactical trauma medicine, CPR certification, radio communications with first responders, advanced marksmanship skills training, protective handgun tactics, personal protection with handgun, and requires scenario-based force-on-force training with live action role players and simunitions. Monthly inspections. Program members are subject to monthly blind inspections. During the inspection, each program member is required to display all required identification and badges, high visibility marking equipment, proper duty ammunition, proper method of carry, firearm cleanliness, firearm function, any first aid, medical equipment, communications equipment for readiness and functionality. And these inspections are performed without notice. The monthly training, program members are will be required to spend 4 hours on the range with their firearms instructor, firing no less than 250 live rounds under supervised and documented training. These training days are scheduled to allow for a small group of guardians and are designed to develop marksmanship skills and abilities at a specific and targeted pace with the goal of increasing their proficiency each month. In alternating months with range training, program members spend 4 hours minimum in a simulated real-world environment developing skills within the tactical response realm and working on increasing proficiency with their role responding to an active killer event. Program members will train a minimum of 4 hours with a qualified instructor lead every month of the year, calendar or not school, to ensure proficiency levels are continuously increasing. And all program members are required to remain in good standing with the MVISD PD as well as the school district administration. The recommended equipment is a subcompact 9mm handgun. Guardians be required to carry one of the 3 approved weapon systems purchased by the Guardian at this time. The recommended ones are the Glock Model 43 and 43X, along with the Shadow System CR 920. What we have here are the 3 approved duty firearms currently. Most Guardians carry at least 1 spare magazine on their person for their weapon system. Duty ammunition. Guardians are issued 1 box of 124 grain Elite Performance 9mm duty ammunition, which is cycled and replaced as needed by the MVISD PD. Communications equipment. Guardians are issued a Motorola XPR 3500 e-radio and battery charger with at least one Impress smart battery each. Guardians have the option of being issued an earpiece and or microphone attachment for the radio system. All Guardians have received in-depth radio communications training and are to properly perform radio communications during stress-induced force-on-force training to meet the proficiency standards established. High visibility medical and armor equipment. Guardians are each issued and required to keep easily accessible a high visibility color, I don't know how to say that word, colored safety ball cap that has the emboldened word Guardian on the front and back. Guardians, upon completion of the TACMED course and as funding allows, are issued personal individual first aid kits and equipped with additional tourniquets and medical supplies to have the ability to aid first responders in combat casualty care in the case of a traumatic incident on campus. Guardians are each issued a set of rifle-rated personal body armor plates and plate carrier, which include reflective marking patches with emboldened letters that read Guardian on the front and back. Guardians are not required to keep the armor carriers within easy access unless their day-to-day duties allow this to be done confidentially and discreetly, and they choose to do so. On the ongoing assessment, Guardians are all subject to ongoing observation and assessment from the program supervisors, director, school board, and district administrators. If a Guardian is found to be in violation of any of the program associated requirements or falls out of good standing with the Mount Vernon ISD Police Department or the school district, the Guardian is taken offline until their case is reviewed and they are either placed back on active status, issued remedial orders, or removed from the program. Guardians are all subject to removal from the program at any time by the appointed program director or school board. And then on the last page is the recommendations that were discussed and given at the safety meeting last Thursday. And so the first one is require annual, biannual, or more than one psych evaluation for the Guardians. So do it more often than just the first time when they get appointed. Report any type of medications, especially any type of prescribed narcotics to supervisor. List all prescribed medications, especially psychiatric meds, on application. Have a CCQ, which is a mental background check, along with a criminal history background check. Conduct random drug tests for Guardians accepted. Required to inform Guardian Director and Superintendent of any arrest or contact with any law enforcement agencies. Assign a non-disclosure agreement, medical disclosure agreement, and require each Guardian to attend any level of alert training hosted by the local sheriff's office, Mount Vernon PD, or Mount Vernon ISD PD.
So as Leo said, that last page was recommendations made by the at our safety meeting last week. Again, I thought the conversation was good. As was stated, as Leanne stated, there are some of the committee that aren't in favor. They've spoken before at the board meetings as well, and they shared that again. What questions would you have in regard to this? As also what Leo has provided for you. I know that this was brought up as well in regard to a cost analysis. He put that in there as a part of what you have. If you look at it, initial startup cost, is going to average in the neighborhood of what it shows, a little over $2,000 per Guardian. But that does include a stipend that has not been approved by this board. So that would, if or when a stipend was approved, would be somewhere in that. First year department incurred expense in regard to training qualifications, range membership. I don't know. The closest range I know we have of a range that you get membership, I guess, is that going to be in Mount Pleasant?
I believe so, yes.
At Clays and Moore, I think that's what that's called.
I think so.
So we have range membership, training equipment, and ammunition. Average cost year one, again, that's approximately $16,000. You see, if we had 15 Guardians, it would be in the neighborhood of $21,000. Annual cost, again, the annual cost includes stipends, as again I said, it's not been approved by the board yet. So if there weren't stipends, you could take that cost out. Still have annual certifications, range memberships, training ammunitions, substitutes for the training days if they're done during the school day. I think that we would try to do those more on Fridays instead of needing more substitutes during school, like as the high school and the campus we talked about today. Insurance, it says insurance. I actually had Mr. Craver contact our property casualty insurance carrier. And because we already carry insurance for our police department, the guardian program would be under that umbrella. I think he said it would be $1 million occurrence and a $2 million aggregate. Thank you.
Is that what we
That's current what we have. That would not
so
be
it
any
doesn't
additional
change?
cost.
Okay,
Correct.
just wanted to clarify.
There's would be no additional cost for the guardian program under our insurance. So again, so you have estimated costs there. Also, Ms. Craven also talked today about comparison to that to a new officer. Of course, that would be according to the experience of the new officer and where they came in on the pay scale. Conservative, I think, would be in the neighborhood of about $50,000 to $55,000 for salary. For another vehicle, which how Mr. Craver has our police fleet set up right now, is on that 3-year lease. So you would be looking in the neighborhood, give or take, but around $75,000 a year, $75,000 to $80,000 a year for a new officer. So, you're welcome. Any questions that we might that Leo and I could answer here?
I want to add some information
Okay.
if no one has a question. I did take time, and Leo, step in if I miscorrect. I did take time to talk with Sheriff Jones just to ask him how he felt about the training, and he felt very good about what was being presented. And Leo, you took these, correct me if I'm wrong, from other schools that have already implemented the program, kind of the two best, and combine them together. So these training requirements, they are pretty extensive.
Yes.
But those schools are able to implement them.
Yes.
So they've done that successfully.
Yes.
And then he also made, which I thought was interesting, what is currently being proposed is more than what Texas requires the minimum for their law enforcement.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So it's even more stringent than that.
Yes.
Wow.
I asked him another question because I know this is coming up a lot because it is Mount Vernon. And while we hope to not promote who guardians are, I kind of asked, the thought behind that. And if that's a known, is that a risk to our student safety or is that a risk to the guardian? And why that is presented that way, if that makes sense, is because it is a risk to the guardian. It's not, if it becomes known, it's not a safety issue for our students. It's more a risk because that makes them more of a target. So it wouldn't necessarily disqualify them from being able to help if they, if word got out and they were still comfortable, because this all is, I want to make very clear, voluntary if someone wants to fulfill this role. And we won't be trying to, from my understanding, badger anyone into doing it, that this is, there. So that would be kind of their assumed risk.
Correct.
Am I correct in
Yes,
stating
correct.
that?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so that was kind of part of our conversation that I thought was just helpful and kind of understanding this better, understanding the requirements to what else is out there. So thank you for taking the time to, I know you had a lot of conversations and really spent a lot of time digging into what was out there. So I do appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
But let me make one more comment about the guardian program itself. Just remember that the guardian program is definitely one of those things, if the board were approved, that we would hope that would never even have to come into play. That the guardian itself is not, they are not security. They're not, they won't be used at football games, baseball games, the track meet, if we have an officer off campus. They are, the only time a guardian ever truly is a guardian and goes into action is if there's an active shooter incident taking place. Outside of that, they're not doing anything else. I mean, that guardian is not going to be called to come to the office because we've got an angry parent and they need to calm the angry parent down. Now, if the guardian happened to be a principal, then yes, they might be doing that, but they're not going as a guardian, they're going as a principal. And so again, the only time a guardian would ever be active in their guardian role would be in an active shooter incident, to where they're going to try to stop the incident if they were to be the first responder before police at all came.
I have a question.
Or when police came.
This is a dumb question. Okay, so like if we do implement it, would there be a sign at the elementary, the middle school, the high school, the gyms,
Absolutely.
that we are a caring campus?
There are other campuses who have the Guardian program who have those, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so that would be, if that would be part of the plan that we want to put in, then yes, we would as well.
Sorry, I answered that absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks, Leanne.
I'm saying yes. If it
You're not
were,
just talking.
no, if it were, I would think that was something, but obviously the board could decide that. And also, again, just to reiterate, this is only one piece of a much bigger picture. We will always look at ways to provide as much safety as we can. So this doesn't dismiss any other implementations or things we might see.
Correct.
This is just one conversation to be having. All right.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? All right, so we will move on. Let me find my agenda. I believe we're moving on to action items. Yes. And, well, first, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion moved by Josh, seconded by Kyle, all four. That's 7-0. And then our first action item is to consider and approve the recommended updates by policy EIC and EIA to reflect the change from 6-week to 9-week grading periods. Is this just a formality?
It's not reading 140.
No, it's strictly a meeting, because we went back to the district committee in the fall to discuss 9-week grading period. They were overwhelmingly in favor of it and decided to develop calendars based off that y'all approved last meeting. So we have to align our policy with that to reflect that we're gonna go to a 9-week grading period. And then we'll still have progress reports, interim progress reports at the 3rd and 6th week period within that 9 weeks. So every 3 weeks, parents are still gonna get an update on grades.
And how many grades will we, it's probably in there, but like, we have a minimum, a number of grades in the 6 weeks. Well, what will it change for mine?
The grading guidelines, I don't remember the number right offhand, but we basically, we talked about this before, that comes in a separate document, but whatever we've got now by 6 weeks, that would probably go another half. So it's a same number of grades over the same time span.
So if it's 10 and 2, it would be whatever.
5 and 15 and 4.
Or 15
Yeah,
and 3.
15 and 4, whatever.
The only other, the second part of that policy is when grades are calculated for, in EIC, page 3 of EIC, is for purposes of determining class rank and honors. We had to reword that, so it's at the 3rd week of the 4th 9 weeks. It's still the same point in time of the year where it always has been. If there's 6 weeks left in their senior year, that's when we stop and calculate GPA for graduation honors. The biggest thing about this is, for most teachers, this makes no hill of beans. It takes a huge load off of our teachers that serve our special ed students and the paperwork that's associated with that, and the frequency. So it's really, if you ask why, that's my why, is to try to take some of that load off of the hill.
And this was already approved in our calendar that we just
Well, you
adopted.
approve the calendar, but we just.
We have to do the
has to
policy.
reflect that, yes.
Right. I'm just, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so any other questions on that? Do I have a motion to approve the recommended updates to policy EIC and EIA to reflect the change from the 6-week to 9-week grading period? Motion made by Kathy. Do I have a second?
Also.
Seconded by Kyle, all four. 7-0. All right, action item B, consider and approve the proposed amendment to the current District of Innovation Plan.
I just figured I'd come here so that you. So this is really, again, a formality to get in line with the legislative requirements that happened this summer. We had listed in our DOI the ability to exempt our core content teachers from certification requirements because we're trying to find them. But so that language was removed in the proposed section, and now kind of outlines the plan for the weaning out of that according to the state law that passed this summer. So we exempt Mount Vernon ISD from all certification requirements of 21.003 allowable by TEA and SBEC. Currently, currently teachers of record for PK, SPED, and bilingual may not be exempted under DOI. So that's a thing we already know. But we had language in there that said we could use core content teachers. We took it out to match what's the next part. Beginning in 26-27, districts may no longer use DOI for K through 5 reading and math. In 27-28, we're prohibited for using DOI to hire any uncertified teachers across grade levels in all foundational core subjects. That's your reading, math, science, and social studies. So our CTE teachers and everybody else are still allowable, and that's the language there. It's just whatever TA is going to allow us to do. We don't have to keep coming back and adopting this and changing. Again, like I said, we talked about last time. Until you know, we'll have another legislative session right before a lot of this hits, and there might be enough noise and feedback that it could totally change between now and then. So we really don't know.
Move the finish line. Yeah, some more. Yeah.
All right, are there any other questions? No. All right, is there a motion to approve the proposed amendment to the current District of Innovation Plan? Motion made by Josh, seconded by Donnie, all four. All right, that's 7-0. All right, consider and approve amended Bluebonnet transition plan.
Okay, this one is really straightforward as well. So last year was the first year of EMRA, and that's our new adoption process for adopting state materials that are approved and found to be 100% in alignment with TEAS and along with a lot of other criteria. Before accessing that $20 bucket of money for an OER product, last year was the first year of it, we had to have an instructional materials transition plan in place. We did this last year. We implemented Bluebonnet K through 5 reading last year. The plan was developed based around that. Y'all approved it. They recommend that you come back to the board with any changes to that plan. The backstory is our teachers last year in math wanted to go a different direction other than Bluebonnet. And halfway through this year, had expressed that they weren't happy with what they had chosen, and it was actually two different vendors for different grade levels, and wanted to know if they could look at making a change. I said sure. I told them when the date was for the workshop, not the workshop, but the vendor showcase at Region 8. Elementary started expressing a lot of interest because they were seeing the results in the reading in the Bluebonnet piece. So I had Region 8 come back over and do a Bluebonnet presentation, met with each campus, met with the middle school, met with high school. Met with their campus principals, their teachers, had these discussions, and K through Algebra 1 has decided to go Bluebonnet Math this next school year. The Algebra 2 and Geometry product wasn't developed enough for them to decide to want to go that route. So saying all that to tell you that in this plan, all we did was add the fact that next year we're going to be implementing K through 9th grade or Algebra 1 Bluebonnet Math to the plan.
And the reading's K through 5, correct?
Yes, because that's all there is right now.
Okay.
It's not developed for above that yet.
You know how my brain works.
Yes. So it's just to approve the amendment to the transition plan is the request. And that is to include that we're going to add K through 9 math.
Gotcha. Any further questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve the amended Bluebonnet transition plan? Motion made by Kyle. Do I have a second? Seconded by Donnie, all four. All right, that's 7-0.
Okay,
All right.
the next one?
Are you the next one? Oh, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Consider, sign, and
Yeah.
ratify the certification of the provision of instructional materials. Mr. Watson.
Yes, so this is our annual attestation that will need signatures from the two of you to TEA, that these are the materials that we're using to provide 100% TEKS coverage for our subject areas, and they're all listed here. And I will tell you, so to save you the time, there's been no change in this document other than the replacement of the math from last year, same.
So the 20 pages, I don't have to
Yeah,
read the fine print.
this reflects the same information I just gave you, is the change in the math base.
Okay. Any questions? All right, do I have a motion to sign and ratify the certification of the provision of instructional materials? Motion made by Donnie, is there a second? Seconded by Kathy, all four. 7-0. All right.
Thank you.
Action item E is to cancel the May 2nd, 2026 general school trustee election. The first is to certify unopposed candidates for the May 2nd, 2026 general election. And the second is to adopt order of cancellation declaring unopposed candidates Josh Jordan, Linda Baird, and Kyle Clayton elected.
Okay, so if you will go to the first one, if you will go to the certification of unopposed candidates for other political subdivisions on your, if you go to your
Oh,
board book.
sorry, I was looking on this.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna read it for you if that's okay. Are you okay with that?
Please do, because I don't have.
Says to the presiding officer of governing body, as the authority responsible for having the official ballot prepared, I hereby certify that the following candidates are unopposed for election to office for the election scheduled to be held May 2nd, 2026. The offices and names of candidates: School Board Trustee Josh Jordan, School Board Trustee Linda Baird, School Board Trustee Kyle Clayton. That is certification.
Are you gonna read the Spanish?
I will. You wanna do them both? No, I'm reading the Spanish, sorry.
Okay.
You wanna, act on both of them at one time?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So the second one is the, certification of unopposed candidates. Says presiding officer governing body as the authority responsible. Am I reading the same one again? Make sure I read the
Yes,
same
you
one.
are.
I went the same one, didn't I? Sorry. Go to the next one. Presiding officer governing body as the authority responsible for having the official ballot prepared, hereby certify that the following candidates are unopposed for election to office for the election scheduled to be May 2nd. Did I read the same one again? They were not the same, are they?
Here, is it this one? The Mount Vernon Independent School Board of Trustees hereby cancels the election scheduled to be held on May
That's the one.
2nd, 2026 in accordance with section 2.053A of the Texas Election Code. The following candidates have been certified as unopposed and are hereby elected as follows: Josh Jordan, School Board Trustee, Place 5, Linda Baird, School Board Trustee, Place 6, Kyle Clayton, School Board Trustee, Place 7. A copy of this order will be posted on election day at each polling place that would have been used in the election.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah, that was one.
gotcha. You got me covered. I got
That's right.
you covered. All right. So do I have a motion to do both of those that were just read? Motion made by Donnie, seconded by Kathy, all four. All right, that is 7-0.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. And it is 6:54 p.m. We will now convene to closed section for personnel matters pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 and to address legal concerns, implications, and questions regarding the posted agenda items pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071. All right. 28 p.m. and we are reconvening into open session. Dr. McCullough, do you have a personnel report for us?
I do. We have a single recommendation first for a new hire. Excuse me. That would be Ryan Zeller for the ELAR one of the ELAR high school teacher positions, as well as he would be the high school cheer coach to go along with that.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve Ryan Zeller? Motion made by Donnie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Josh. All four. Is that 7-0?
Yeah, Donnie and Josh?
Yes.
Okay, next is going to be in your board book was added later today. I apologize for the late addition, but it is the teacher contracts. This is March. We do teacher contracts. These have been recommended and signed off by campus principals as well as Craig and myself. Those are listed in your now in your board book. There are 24 pages worth. I will take the time and read through them if you'd like for me to, or I will just present. I will make the recommendation to present to you as in your board book.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the recommended contracts as presented? Motion made by Linda, seconded by Donnie, all four. That is 7-0.
Thank you. And we do have a few resignations to acknowledge tonight. They are Terry Fitch, Brent Gardner, Hunter Grimes, Jalen Henson, Carla Hines, Kayla Kelso, Christian Ladd, and Marcia Romines.
It is 8:30 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.
Mr. Terry Fitch.
Mr. Terry Fitch.